All right, everyone. Welcome back to another video in the series where I'm teaching you Python. So we're back after a little bit of break, and I'm going to talk about more in this video about lists. So if you remember, lists are essentially just collections of data, and they have indexes. Starting at 0. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I don't think I showed this last time, but you can actually sort of edit this data set. So you can, if you remember, you can index data. You can get, this would be, if you see up there, if I highlight that, you see that we're looking at index 0, so that's actually the first piece of data, which is 1, and we can set that to be n if we want. I'm going to set it to be equal to Thor. And if we print out data, you can see we have Thor 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, well that's useful. It's definitely helpful to be able to do stuff like that. But what if you want to add a whole other piece of data to it that isn't, well, you basically want to extend the length of this, because so far we can edit it, but we can't actually add a whole other element to this list. The way you do that is through the append method. You can say data dot append, and this is similar to what you've probably seen before as a function, but it's a method because you're operating on a variable, or I think in this case it would be called an object. So you do a data.append, so you're appending something to data, and we're going to append again for, and if I go print data, we get that. So we have the original list, and then you have Thor. And you can do this as many times as you want. So if I copy this, you have 3 Thors at the end. But what if you want to insert, that's a special word, a piece of data somewhere? What if you want to have maybe in front of this 2, you want to have the Thor? So let's do data.insert. And the first thing that's coming in is the index of where you want this piece of data to be. Remember, it's not going to replace this index, whatever is there. It's going to simply put the data point there. So let's say 1. If we want to put something before the 2, we have to put 1, which is where 2 is, and shift everything to the right. So if we do 1, comma, Thor, what we get is this. So we have the Thors in front of the 2. It's in the position where the 2 used to be, and it pushes everything to the right. So we've again grown this list to be 6 elements in size, but we've instead of putting the Thor at the end, we can put it at different indexes. You can put it at 0, run that again, and then we have Thor. All right. Now, what if you want to remove something from your data list? Let me actually keep the print there. So the way that I would do that, I'm sort of the equivalent of appending but deleting is pop. So you do data.pop. What that does is it simply deletes the last element in our list. It would be this 5 here. Think of it pops off, it runs away. So if we run our code here, you see we only have 1, 2, 3, 4. The 5 is gone. But it isn't technically gone. We can save it in a variable. We can say last equals data.pop, which is very useful because although our list here has mutated, it has changed, we no longer have 5, we can actually keep that 5, which is very useful if it's a more complex piece of data that we may not know the value of. So we can go here, we can print last, just to show you. We have the list has been updated, we get that 5 by itself. So you can sort of think of it as getting that last element of a list, but it's taking it out, rips it out, pops it off. Now, there are two ways of removing pieces of data that are not, delete this, that are not the last one, or really just, I should say, just deleting any piece of data in our list. The most sort of to the metal version, the most, I guess, maybe less user-friendly way of doing it is simply, although this is the way that I prefer, is doing del data, and then you can give it an index. You can give it 0. This is going to say, it's going to look, okay, what's at data 0, we're going to remove that. Click run. You can see we have 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's a way of deleting it. Deleting an element, you can give it any index here. Let's give it 3. So we're going to be missing, we have 1, 2, 3, 5. Removing that 4. All right. You can also do data.remove. And what this will do is it will remove an element given a element. So for example, if we give it 1, it will remove this 1 from the list. It will look, okay, let me find the 1. It's at index 0, we're going to remove that. So it differs from del data 1, because this will, here, removes 1. And this removes 2. This is removing 2 because 2 is at index 1, and this removes 1 just because this is 1. It's that value. So this is referring to the value, and this is referring to the index. So try to remember that. So you have del, you're doing the index, and when you have remove, you're referring to the actual value. So let's see that. You're going to see, oh, actually, let me remove this so it's a little clearer. All right. So you're going to see that we are removing the 1. So just to make it more clear, we can do something like cheese, and you can do remove cheese. And I don't know if I've mentioned it here. I may have done this in person, but the single quotes and double quotes don't matter. You can do either, but you have to remember to use. If you use an opening single quote, you have to use a closing single quote, opening double quote, closing single quote, a closing double quote. You can't mix and match them. Anyway, so this removes cheese. The reason why I think it's more common to use single quotes is because it's actually easier to type on the keyboard. You don't have to press shift. Anyway, so there removes cheese from this list. Let me remove this comment here. Anyway, but what happens if we have a cheese at the end? It would be very nice, perhaps, if it removed all of them, but I definitely think there's some logic in only removing the first one, because maybe we want to keep everything after that, and there's a really easy way to using remove every single cheese, and I think it'd be harder to use remove to delete just the first one. Anyway, I guess you do with that. I'm sort of programming in my head here of different ways to solve the problem. Anyway, so here we go. It removes the first cheese, but not the last. But not the last or any one for the first step, not for anyone after. So it's going to remove the first one it sees. All right, so that's basically it when it comes to data or list manipulations. You can do a lot more cool stuff with this, but hopefully I'll get a chance to talk about. But this is really what you need to know. You can do a lot of cool stuff with it. The next thing I want to talk about is, it's sort of an unrelated thing, but string concatenation. So I'm sure you're familiar with, you can say first name is George, name is Washington. And why don't I use single quotes here just to show you that it's the same thing as double. Anyway, so you say you have first and last. And if you want to maybe print this name, George Washington, as last name, comma, first name is the standard in many scenarios. You can do something like this. You can say last name plus comma space. So let's just run that, see what happens. You'll get Washington, comma, and you can't see it, but it's space. So it works like addition. Think of this plus being like a needle and some thread, and you're sewing the strings together. You're concatenating them, which is a sort of a strange word, but that's what it's called. That's a technical term. And I'm trying to use these technical terms so you become familiar with them. And then you can add first name. So you can do this as many times as you want, and you get Washington, comma, George. And you can store that in a variable, you can do whatever you want. And you can even do full name. Let's do full equals, let's say full equals first, and you can do something like full first. Alright, so if full name is just set to George at first, and you can do full plus or equals, comma, and then you do full plus equals last. And I'm pretty sure this works. And full. And we run. You do that. I don't know why I put that comma there. There, George Washington. We have that full name stitched together. Alright, so that's a pretty useful thing if you're doing some text formatting, because when you're writing a program, oftentimes you're going to want to be able to talk to the user, have them read things, and it's useful to be able to use variables to substitute certain words or phrases or whatever. Anyway, like if you can say, you could, let me give you an example. Reading. Hello. Hello. You can have greeting equals hello. And then you can say, you do greeting plus equals space, greeting plus equals, run that. Oh, I spelled it. We can say hello, John. Alright, so that's the use for this kind of thing, being able to concatenate strings like you would numbers, but instead of adding, you just stick them together. Alright, one last thing I think I've covered, but there's just some confusion in my in-person class about this, is the idea that you can have lists that contain lists. So here's an empty list, or we can call it guests. And it's empty because it's an open bracket, closing bracket, there's nothing inside. And what you can have is you can have another list. So if we do print guests, spell, we can print the length of that. You're going to get 1, because it has one element, which is another list. Now, what I use this for is we're making a guest list, so I sort of had a list to represent my name. And then and you can actually sort of spread stuff out onto multiple lines when you're writing code. It's useful for something like this. I maybe want to have so and let's have one more. maybe we can have Washington. Okay, so here we have a list. You can see my editor here is highlighting the ends of the list. So we have a list. And we have 3 elements in this list. And I know you're probably thinking, 3? There are 6. In a way, you're right. There are a total of 6, I guess, elements in a sense, but the guest list, if I go and you remember print len guests, I don't know how to spell. If I do that, you get 3. There's 3. But the reason why that is because if you don't delete it, you can see that, oh, well, this first element, it's a list. There's a comma here. The second element, it's a list. And this third element is a list. So if we can actually access one of these, so we can say the first one is me. And we can print that. You can see, oh, it looks like a list. It looks basically exactly as I typed it. And I can even get the first one, which is my last name, and there we go. So hopefully that maybe clears up this idea that you can have lists within lists, and I can even, this is breaking sort of the standard, you can have another list here. It can just go on forever. The reason why it really makes sense, because if you think about it, if a list is a data type, and a list can hold any data type, surely a list can hold a list. Think about it like that. And you can even have, other stuff there. It's really cool. They're really flexible, but in that way they're confusing. Because if you know what a string can hold, you know what a Boolean can hold, you know what a number can hold. It's very strict. With a list, there's a lot more fluidity, in the sense that it can hold an infinite number, or almost infinite number of elements, and those elements can be anything, and they can hold anything. They can just, there's a lot more ambiguity around what you can do with them. So anyway, I hope that helps explain that concept, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.